Hi everyone, this is Dr. Aditi Govitrikar and welcome to the session. Today the topic is reinventing yourself. This is part of Health from Home series by Aditya Birla Health Insurance Group. Now why did I choose reinventing yourself as the topic? There are many reasons for this. The first reason is that I have reinvented myself not once but twice, and I think pretty successfully. So I transitioned from being a medical doctor to a supermodel and an actor. 4 to 5 years back, I went back to ground zero, reinvented myself to become a psychologist. So it wasn't like I was not happy with the life that I was leading, with the work, the roles that I was getting, but I just started feeling that intellectually I'm not getting the stimulation which my mind, which my brain was craving. And that's the reason I said that I need to reinvent myself. I also discovered that I am a lifelong learner. I need to study. I love to study. I love to give exams. Now I understand that most people are not like that, and exams is something which gives most people nightmares. I am aware of it. But think about it. Every single day, thousands and thousands of our cells die. Thousands of our cells are born. So if you take the cycle, our body is reinventing itself continuously, day in and day out. That's one part of it. The second part of it, if I had to tell you that this lockdown is, if I was to conduct a session say 6 months back and I had to say that 6 months later this is going to be the scenario, nobody would have believed me. But today here we are in a lockdown and we have invented ourselves. We have created a new norm. What used to be our normal life before the lockdown is definitely not what it is right now. And this has become the new life. This has become the new norm. And once it opens up, then we are not going to be the same. We are not going to lead the life that we were leading pre-corona, and that is a fact. And think about it. The habits, the ways that you lived before, a lot of those have changed. The way we look at life, the value that we give things, that has changed. This has happened because life has brought this on our path. What I'm saying is, how about we take charge of our life? How about you sit in the driver's seat, take that steering wheel, and with the GPS, reach the destination of your choice? Won't that make you feel empowered? Won't that be so powerful that the feeling that you are in control of your life? Doesn't mean things are not going to happen. Doesn't mean incidences or hurdles or obstacles are not going to come your way. Definitely they will. But then, because you have the GPS, you will be able to navigate through that time in such a way that you will find an alternate path to reach your destination. Now, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a great power to have, to be able to navigate your life, to lead your life the way you want, and to go where you want to go, and not let life take you wherever life wants to take you? Because sure, you will reach the end of life anyway, all of us will. But then the path is something that if we can decide, why don't we do it? And that was my question which I wanted to answer, and that is what I did with my own life, and that is what I want to share with you. So I will be sharing the tools and techniques to reinvent yourself. Having said that, you have to do it every single day with consistency, with discipline, because that is really the key. Every single day, if you take a baby step towards that destination, that goal that you have set for yourself, for your life, you will reach there. And this is a challenge. In your book, if you write down the date, today's date, and do the technique practice it for next 1 year, and open the diary open the diary next year on the same date, you will see how much progress you've made. You will see how beautifully your life has altered. So ready? Yes. Yeah, I will answer your questions a little later. So what is this 1 hour technique? This 1 hour technique is dividing that 1 hour in 20-minute segment. So we have 3 segments in that 1 hour. Yeah, there's physical, emotional, and intellectual. Now, you can choose to do whichever segment you want to, but keep it uniform. To give you an example, I prefer to do the physical exercises last. Whereas my clients who I've worked with, who I've taught this technique, prefer to finish off the physical activity first, because they feel energized. They feel that, they get that blood pumping, and they have good hormones in their body, and they are all set to take on the day. Why I do it last is because when I work out, I like to hop into the shower after my workout, have a nice fresh cold shower. I like cold showers, and then I'm ready to take on the day. So each to his own. Like I said, stick to the pattern that you've chosen for yourself. So give it a little thought before you decide that this is going to be 1, this is going to be 2, and this is going to be 3. But do that. That will really help in forming this habit. Yeah. So the first 20 minutes is your physical exercise. What do you do in this? I'll demonstrate to you what I do, and then we'll talk about it. What I do is I look at my spinal cord health. Because what I have learned in my life is that if you want to lead a healthy life, which I want to till the day I die, you have to look after your joints and your spinal cord. So the flexibility of spinal cord is very, very important. So I dedicate the first 20 minutes of my day, so to say, in that 1 hour, to my spinal cord health. Yeah. So I'll quickly demonstrate what I do, and then we'll continue talking. So I'm just going to rearrange the camera because I have kept the mat ready so that you can see me perform the asanas, and there you go. Okay, so I hope you can see me. Okay, yeah. So stand at the edge of the mat. Okay, raise your hands up, breathe out, and walk by keeping your legs straight, and then push your heels to the floor and your chest to the ground. Okay, from here I go into plank and I push myself like this, and then I go back into this pose. I continue this . So I continue this for some time, after which I place my legs straight, bend one knee, keep it across the other knee. Okay, spine is straight, opposite hand up, place it against the knee. Okay, so I placed it like this. The other hand is behind, okay, behind my back, right where my spinal cord is, in the same line like that. And then with every exhale, I stretch to look behind. Okay, now the other side. Same thing, opposite hand up, pushing my knee, hand is straight, and I twist. Okay, then you could also practice touching your toes and bending forward. Okay, so you could do this, and there are various other asanas which you can choose to keep your spinal health in place. So this is what I do. At times I do Surya Namaskar, but pretty much everything is related to my spinal health. Now you can choose various forms of exercises. To give you an example, you can do spot jogging. Yeah, just jog very fast by bending a little forward in the spot. You can go for a brisk walk around the house. When things open up, you can obviously go on the road, not right now. If you stay in a building, you can run up and down on the stairs. That is also great for your cardiovascular health. So you can choose yoga, you can do cardiovascular exercises, or you could select one of the videos on YouTube which are for 20 minutes. So there are many exercises which are there, which are high intensity interval training. There is Tabata, there is Abs Blaster, which is 20 minutes of abs. There are many such videos which are available, which you can follow for those 20 minutes. You could learn a new skill. Like you can learn to do a headstand or a handstand. That's good for your spine as well, by the way. And it's great for your skin. So you could even choose one of those. So this constitutes the physical well-being part, which is related to reinventing yourself. Yeah, so that's the physical part, 20 minutes, and which I do as a last part, but a lot of people prefer to start their day, especially because this 1 hour is to be done in the mornings when you wake up. After you brush your teeth and you finish all the routine, you sit down and you dedicate this 1 hour to create the pattern that I will be describing, including the physical well-being part. So why do it in the morning? The reason for this is because when you start your day on a positive note with empowering yourself, pretty much your vibe is very high. And you get into that positive zone, and today's day and age, you know how important that is. All of us have gone through, suddenly going through anxiety or panic or any other kind of negative emotions due to the times that we are facing today. This helps you deal with that in a much better manner, which means that it also increases your resilience, your coping to any stress that comes your way. So it becomes important to start your day with this 1 hour. Now there is a book called 5 AM Club by Robin Sharma. I have not read this book, but I've got this concept of 1 hour from him. It is on my to read list, and I will read it during this time. Now, why form a habit and why do it now? Why is this the best time to do it? Is because we have time right now. We have enough time because we are not commuting, and you know how much time commuting takes, right? When you're traveling to your workplace or for meetings, all that time is saved today, and we have that time, and we can utilize that time to inculcate this habit, so that when this lockdown opens up, it becomes an integral part of your day-to-day living. Now, if I tell you, tomorrow don't brush your teeth, even the thought is like, it leaves you uneasy, isn't it? We are so used to brushing our teeth that if you don't brush your teeth, it feels so weird, right? Because it's a habit. So the best time to form this habit is now, because we have time, and because once the lockdown opens up, it will become part of it becomes a norm that you start your day so powerfully that whatever comes your way, then you can handle it in a much better manner. And you will see with the intellectual and the emotional activities, which I will discuss, it will take you to another level. It will help you get to know yourself to an extent where there will be no hidden dark corners that you don't know about yourself. It is that powerful. This technique is that powerful. Yeah, so these are the physical activities. Somebody has asked, what if we do weightlifting? Yes, surely you can do weightlifting. Why not? Do the weightlifting. But like I said, that this will not be part of the regular workout that you do. Keep that separate. So if you're working out thrice a week, or you're going jogging for 5 days in a week, or you're preparing for marathon, so this just do it and forget. It is not to be counted as part of that workout. Keep this as a very separate category only for this purpose. Okay, so don't mix the two. Keep that as a completely. Of course, you can do weightlifting. That's fine too. Not a problem. And today, for people who are at home and who don't have weights, the best thing that you can use is water bottles. Just fill the water bottles of same water bottle, same size, same amount of water in it, and you can do your curls, you can do your tricep and all those things. But the best way for you to do body weight is using your own body weight. So the best way to do weights is to use your own body weight. You can do push-ups, you can do squats, you can squat against the wall. You know, like for example, what I can show you is that if I have this wall next to me, I just go down and I just sit as if I'm sitting on the chair with my legs which are parallel to the with my thighs which are parallel to the floor, and my back is completely flat against the wall. So that is also one way of doing it. Try it. If you can last for 2 minutes, that's great. It's extremely good workout for your lower body. So go ahead and try, innovate. You can try different things and then form a routine to say that this is what I will continue doing. Like for example, I shared with you that my routine includes the spinal cord health, the dancing dog which I showed you, the down dog and the up dog. Yeah. So go ahead and reinvent yourself where your physical health is concerned. Do tricep dips, do push-ups, do plank, it doesn't matter. Okay, now moving on to the intellectual well-being part. What do I mean by intellectual well-being is, and how am I reinventing myself with this aspect, keeping in mind this aspect, is that I look at my brain health. Now, most of us say that education is over when I get that certificate. You know, my post-graduation certificate I've got, I'm done. I don't want to study anymore. I don't want to give any more exams. I agree with you. No need to give exams if you don't want to. I know it is stressful, and most of us do have nightmares even today of the exams that we have given, isn't it? Like my recurring nightmare used to be that I've studied for the wrong paper. And even now I get it. So I get that. However, learning should not stop. You don't need to. In fact, there is so much that you can learn, and it could be of any subject or any topic you like. It's not necessary that you have to study quantum physics or astronomy or any of these kind of sciences. No, you don't need to do that. You can learn whatever it is that you want to learn, and in these 20 minutes, that's what you will take up. You will give food to your brain. Now, what are the different activities that you can take up? One is, of course, you can read a book. If you like reading, then pick up a book which will enrich your life, and I would avoid fiction because that's really entertainment more than brain food, so to say. You're not really learning much in that. So philosophy, psychology, self-help, creating new habits, learning new things, that is a kind of book that I would recommend for these 20 minutes where we are looking at. Or you can listen to a podcast which is again motivational, which is inspirational, which will pump in that energy in you. Those kind of podcasts is something that I would recommend. Or you could listen to audiobooks. Yes, I'm coming to that. So the question was that, can I solve puzzles? Of course, that's very good. That's a brilliant thing to do for your brain, to solve puzzles. You know, the crossword that comes every day in newspaper, or you can buy a book if possible now. So you can solve puzzles for sure. You could also do Sudoku. Sudoku is proven to be very good for brain health. So that is another way of improving your brain power. You could also decide to learn a new language, because it's been proven again that when you learn something new, you learn a new skill, you learn a new language, it improves your synapses in the brain. जो brain में connections होते हैं वो बढ़ जाते हैं. So you become cleverer. This is a myth that intelligence is fixed. It is what you're born with. No. There are two types of intelligence, crystallized and fluid. And you can grow intelligence by learning new skills. तो चाहे आप कोई musical instrument उठा लो, वो सीखो, which today there are innumerable videos which are available on YouTube to learn, to get to know different skills, different instruments, different languages. So pick up one from that. Go ahead and do that. Now I'm coming back to how did I choose psychology, and I'm going to include this in the intellectual vertical because it's very important for you to know yourself. If you know yourself, then you know which destination to go to. To give us a very simple example is that, are you a beach person or are you a mountain person? Right? If you know that you are a beach person, then maybe you can choose Mykonos or Ibiza. If you're a mountain person, you can choose Srinagar or Nepal somewhere, or Switzerland, or any mountain place. But if you don't know what you like, then you are lost. Then you don't know where to take your car, you don't know where to drive, right? So to know yourself becomes a very crucial part. Now, most of us are under the assumption that we know ourselves. That's not true. And I'll tell you how. Here's an exercise that you can do. It's called 3 questions. Okay? So, whoever you know, the people who know you very well and the people who don't know you that well. So that includes your colleagues, even your watchman, for example, or the workers that work in your office. Anybody, you can take anybody, including the people you've had conflicts with. In fact, those are the best people, but that you can do a little later once you get used to this technique of getting to know yourself. Now, what are the 3 questions? The 3 questions are, and this has to be done without giving a justification or without explaining yourself. What I mean by this is, suppose I go to my friend and I say that, I request you to give me some answers, and whatever answers you give me will be accepted the way they are. I will not explain anything. I will not ask you for any justification. I will not give any justification. I will not say, but why do you say that? And why do you think this? No. It has to be accepted as it is. At the most, you can ask anything else. Do you want to add anything else? That's it. And then you thank the person graciously. So, what are the 3 questions? The 3 questions are, the first question is, you ask the other person, what are my strengths? Okay? The person will say A, B, C, D, E. Then the next question is, what are my weaknesses? Again, whatever. At times people might say, oh, but I don't know you well enough for me to know your weaknesses or your strengths. Just say that, what is your perceived notion? What do you think are? It's okay. You might not know me well enough, but we always have a judgment. Whenever we meet somebody, quickly we assess whether we like it or not. That's how we are built. That's how human beings are. That we like to kind of, suss the person out immediately, and we form a judgment in our minds. So the weaknesses are done, then you know what the weaknesses are according to the person. Now, obviously, the people who know you very well the answers will be a lot more in depth. There will be the number of qualities that they will be able to tell you will be a lot more, but that's okay. At times people don't, you have to just accept the way it is. Yeah. So that is the second question. What are my weaknesses? And the third question is that, who am I to you? Now you'll be surprised with the answer that comes out over here. And trust me, I've done this exercise and I continue doing so even today. Like if I bump into an old friend who I have kind of not kept in touch, and we connect and we get chatting, and I even do this interview with that person by requesting them. I tell them that, I had this interview that I'm doing for self-help, for self-growth, and I would like to know the answers, and these are 3 questions. Yeah, so what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and who am I to you? Write this down. Make a diary for this 1 hour club, like I have this one. Yeah, so in this diary I also write down whatever interviews I do, not in front of the person, and obviously this interview should be done face to face, but given the situation, you could actually call people on any of these platforms which are available now, be it Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, WhatsApp video, and many others. So best thing to do is that every day you should do at least 2 or 3 interviews, and you collect the data. Once the interview is done, you write it down. You write down the person's name, you write down A, B, C. And you'll be amazed at what you get to hear. There will be times when you will be in shock to say that, that's not who I am. But of course, you can't say that to the person. I'm saying that's what you will feel inside you. Because how people perceive you is very different. It's not what you expect or you want even. So be prepared for it, and imagine the amount of learning that comes out of this small, short, quick interview for you to know about yourself. Because there will be, I'm telling you, there will be times where you will be amazed at the answers that you get. So go ahead and start taking these interviews, starting with your family members, who you are with right now, face to face and separately. Don't have a group interview. So if you're interviewing your mother, explain to her what you're doing and sit separately, away from everybody else, preferably in another room, and then do the interview. Do it with the children. They are brutally honest. But of course, we know that they speak the truth. And it's interesting how they are perceiving you. And you, again, I'm telling you, you'll be surprised. Pleasantly so, most of the time. So don't take it so seriously. It's great and a very good, insightful exercise for everybody to take on. Yeah? So go ahead and do it. So that is one way of getting to know yourself. Now, the other way of doing it is by writing down your biography. So write down whatever the most important incidences are in your life, positive, negative, not so important, but you remember. So there's a reason why you remember. Obviously, you don't remember everything that's happened in your life, isn't it? There are certain things that you remember, certain things that you don't. So whatever you remember of your life, write it down. You will see a pattern coming out of it. And you will also see that a lot of decisions that you take are based on what your memory or your experience of that incident is. For example, a lot of people find trusting another human being difficult. The reason for that is because the trust has been broken during formative years because of some caregiver not doing what they are supposed to or doing what they are not supposed to. And that initial trust, when it's lost, you start viewing the world with that lens. So anybody that comes, and it's not only necessary because of this, it can be broken by और कोई भी कर सकता है. कोई आंट ने कुछ कहा होगा या नहीं किया होगा जो प्रॉमिस किया था, and your trust is broken over there. या दोस्त ने कुछ कर दिया जिसके वजह से यू आर लाइक, ये क्या हुआ मेरे साथ, माय बेस्ट फ्रेंड ये कैसे ऐसे कर सकता है या कर सकती है, ये भी हो सकता है. ओके, you will see a pattern. It could be anything. I'm just taking trust as an example. And then you realize that as you're growing up, you will start looking at everybody like that. Everybody with that filter of, I don't trust you. You have to prove your trust to me. Yeah, think about it. Think about what are your patterns after you write down these important incidences in your life. Write down what you want in life. Very important, because if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to reach there. You will get lost on the way. Get to know what is it that you want. A lot of us know what we don't want, but most of us do not know what we want. Write it down. So write down for yourself, for your physical health, what do you want, for your social life, what do you want for your family life, what do you want for your professional life, what do you want for your financial life, what do you want. As detailed as it can be. And you can seek help from your trusted ones, from your family members, from your spouse, from your best friend, from your wealth manager, from your advisor. Take help. Once you do this and you know what is it that you want, then you have the blueprint of your life. And dream big. Guys, dream big. Don't limit yourself. If you limit yourself, you will only be able to reach there. Just go wild with your imagination. And why do I say this? Because if you think about people who have achieved the impossible, right? It was, to give you an example, Walt Disney. Who would have, when he described the theme park that he had in his mind, it felt like he had lost it, and he did face that negativity. He did face the resistance that, what are you talking about? Is it even possible? But he made it happen. And today we take it for granted, right? We're like, yeah, what's the big deal? Just few years back, if somebody had said to me when we had the older phones, when we had to type in and this thing, I mean, I'm not talking about those phones, you remember, not those, but even these ones, the typed ones. And if somebody had said that, few years from now, there will be no buttons, you'll just use your fingertips and you'll use your fingertips to swipe, we would have looked at that person like, has he lost it? But this is where we are. Now they're working on 3D phones. I mean, there's holographs or whatever coming out, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So think big. Do not limit yourself in every aspect. If, for example, if you take your physical health, if you say that you want 6-pack abs, if you want to be able to touch your head to your knees, by keeping your legs straight like that, so be it. If you want to do back bend and be able to lift yourself, and today you can't even pick yourself up, so be it. So set the goals. There was just recently I read where a 62 or 63-year-old held the world record for a plank. Oh my God, I was stunned. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? So those are the goals that we don't even think about. We think, oh, that's impossible. But go ahead and make those goals in the intellectual well-being category. Feel free to let your mind expand. Again, to give you an example that where I did not know how to dream big is when I passed my 10th, I knew that I always wanted to be a doctor, right? From the time I remember when I was when I used to speak. So even in junior KG, I think I would say that I want to be a doctor. Yeah. I said that I want to go to Bombay. At that time it was called Bombay. I want to go to a Bombay Medical College because I come from a small place called Panvel, जो बम्बई से करीबन 1.5 घंटे की दूरी पे है. तो I grew up there. छोटी जगह थी. It wasn't a big place at all. It's a small town, I would say. So I dreamt, I placed my dreams to go to Bombay Medical College, and that's where I went. Now, today when I have the knowledge that I have, I'm like, why did I not choose any other college in the world? Because it didn't even occur to me at that time that I should be thinking of going somewhere else. For example, AIIMS, right? So I'm just giving an example that don't limit yourself, dream big, okay? So that comes under the intellectual category. Now you can also draw a map like this. For example, when I had to choose psychology, this is a map I drew. I mean, I've drawn a simplistic one here to demonstrate, but I placed my name in the center and then I did the options. That what are my options that I'm passionate about, that I want to work on. So there was skin, because a lot of people told me that, you know, skin would be a good branch for you, given that your skin is good and you're in this field and you're a doctor. So skin made sense to me, so I put down skin. The second category, which continues to remain my favorite, is nutrition, because what I believe is that we are what we eat and we are what we think. So then I came to the third one, which is psychology. Now, I did not think of psychology in that sense during that time, but it intrigued me because I always wondered, why is it that people think the way they think? Why is it that we behave the way we behave? There are so many times where I have made mistakes, and so many times I've known that this thing is not good for me, I should not do it, yet I've gone ahead and done it. Why did I do it? Right? So these kind of questions intrigued me, and I said, okay, let's learn psychology, and that's where I am. And in psychology, I've created a vertical which is nutritional well-being, because I love reading about food. I like knowing about food. I want to know what food is good for my brain, what is good for my skin. So I've done fair amount of research in it. And in my 8 and Finite, which is another program, I've incorporated nutritional well-being as well. So that is our intellectual well-being category. Reading, listening to audiobooks or podcast, figuring out who you are, discovering who you are, writing down where you want to go, and write down why. That is very important. Write down why is it that you want to achieve what you want to achieve. The whys are very important because they are the fuel that we will use in our car to reach our destination. Okay, so like for example, if I have to respond from my choice of psychology, is that I discovered that firstly in India, mental health is completely ignored. And I can talk about it for us, but very quickly, is that because I felt so strongly about it, I decided to choose psychology. That gave me the why, that I want to change the attitude, I want to create awareness where mental health is concerned in our nation. And that's why I chose psychology. Okay, now the third category. The third category is emotional well-being. Now, emotional well-being is interesting because emotions are something that we rarely pay attention to, because we are taught to ignore it. And I'll give you an example. When we fall down, you know, when we are kids, बच्चे होते हैं, गिर जाते हैं, तो अगल बगल में लोग कहते हैं अरे उठ जाओ कोई बात नहीं, कुछ नहीं हुआ है, nothing, let's do this, or they distract you, or if your friend is like चल यार खेलते हैं, let's continue playing, it's nothing, ignore it, you know, you're okay. A lot of people say to their kids, especially the parents, oh, you're okay, you're strong, you know. Why do we do this? You're not okay. You've fallen down, you've got hurt, and perhaps you're scratched or you're bleeding. And it hurts. I'm hurting. When I'm hurting, I'm taught, when I'm very small, it's okay. So, children are very susceptible to this, because they can get confused and they think, okay, this is an adult who's telling me I have to be okay, even if it is hurting, then I have to be okay. So what do I do then? I brush my pain aside, right? So if we have to look at these kind of things, that's what we've been trained to do right from when we are children. So kaise kare, kya kare? So for that, it's important to acknowledge your feelings. Every now and then ask yourself, how are you feeling? And if you're feeling not okay, then you're not okay. You don't have to force yourself to feel okay when you're not feeling okay. Acceptance is the key. If you're feeling sad, acknowledge that, to say, yes, I am feeling sad and I need to stay with this feeling. Once you do that, then you can use the tools and techniques to come out of it. What does that have to do with the emotional well-being that I'm talking about, right? So what happens is, once you get into the practice of becoming aware of what you're feeling at any given moment. And this exercise you have to do it throughout the day. Every now and then, just ask yourself, how are you feeling? Are you feeling relaxed? Are you feeling calm? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling annoyed? Just ask yourself, okay? And acknowledge yourself for feeling whatever it is that you're feeling. Yeah. Now, in the emotional well-being, what we will do is that one way of spending these 20 minutes is by meditating. I had shown Anapana last time, but I will quickly run us through that again in case we have new guests on this session. I'll quickly demonstrate how you do Anapana meditation. Anapana meditation is the beginning of Vipassana meditation, which I am allowed to teach. It's a very simple technique. It can be done anywhere. You don't need anything for it, like a candle, or you don't need to say anything aloud like a mantra, which are also okay. So in this section, in these 20 minutes, go ahead and follow whatever meditation you have been following till now, or you can discover new ones, whether it's transcendental, whether it's mantra chanting, whether it is doing different kinds of breath. I'll show you two today. One is called the Anapana meditation. So Anapana meditation is when I sit upright on a chair. So if I have a backrest, I'm not resting against the back and relaxing, but I'm sitting up straight so that my spine is straight. Yeah, my spine is straight, chin parallel to the floor, feet are flat on the ground, and palms are on the knees. Now, one very quick tip over here is that when you're stressed out, your tongue gets stuck to the upper palate, ऊपर की तरफ. तो उसे ऊपर नहीं चिपकाना है, उसे नीचे रखना है. Okay? So relax your tongue in the lower jaw inside. And let's close our eyes. Okay? So feet firmly on the ground, straight, sitting upright. Okay? And close your eyes. Take 2 deep breaths. Now go back to your normal natural breath and focus on the air inside your nostrils as the air is coming in and as it is going out. In case you don't feel the flow, which is possible if your mind is agitated and is not focused, you can take deep breaths. Take a couple of deep breaths, you will feel the sense of the air, and then you can go back to your normal natural breath. Thoughts will come and go. Don't get attached, don't get stuck. The minute you realize that you're getting stuck, very gently bring your attention back to breathing. Normal, natural breath as the air is coming in and going out. Stay here for some time, after which bring your attention to the rim of the nostril or the ring of your nostril and focus on the air as it is going in and out. Stay here for another 5 minutes or so, and then bring your attention to the skin above your upper lip and below your nostrils. Feel the airflow in this area, sense the temperature. Eventually you will be able to feel sensations on the skin. Focus on that. Do this for another 5 minutes. After which, rub your palms to create heat. Very gently cup your eyes with your palms, resting your eyes. Open your eyes inside the palm and then gently bring your palms down. So this is Anapana meditation. This is something that you can practice for 20 minutes every day, and it will lead to mindful living during the day as well. It's a very powerful technique, and you will see that at times your mind will wander, which is okay. That's completely okay. The minute you realize the mind has wandered, gently bring it back. The more you practice this, the more sensitive you will start becoming towards yourself, towards your surrounding, and towards others. It improves your EQ, which also means that it improves your relationships. Who doesn't want that, right? So that is the emotional well-being. Now, this is not it. You can also do different kinds of well-being. For example, meditation is one of them. You can practice pranayam. So one of the pranayam, which is my favorite, which I even practice when I am stuck in traffic, because it calms me down. I have found this very calming. It's very relaxing. So if I'm stressed before my exams, I will always practice this, and this is called Anulom Vilom. Anulom Vilom is basically, you take these two fingers, place them at the base of your thumb, use your thumb and the ring finger. Okay, again, feet are flat on the ground, spine is upright, the other palm is placed facing upwards on your knee. This is when your elbow is away. It's not stuck like this, you're not doing it like this, so it's away from your body but in a comfortable position. Use the tips, not the nails, the tips of your fingers to place gently on the nostrils. So you're placing this like this, and this is like this. Okay, so this is what you will use to close your nostrils. Okay, ready? Let's do it. So I've placed it like this. Close your eyes. Now close your right nostril with your thumb and inhale through your left nostril. Close your left nostril and exhale through your right nostril. Now inhale through your right nostril, close the right nostril and exhale through your left nostril. Inhale through your left nostril, close it and exhale through your right nostril. Okay, do these for 20 minutes or split it half and half, and you can even do it for 10 minutes and you can do something else for 10 minutes. That is your choice, how you feel you want to spend those 20 minutes. So that's Anulom Vilom. It's very good. It really grounds yourself. It adjusts the nadis, as they are called. It balances them out, and it is also very cooling. It's also very soothing. So Anulom Vilom is something that's my favorite, and that's a pranayam which I practice every now and then. Another thing what you can do for emotional well-being is listen to music. Music has the power, it has healing capacity. You can chant Om, for example, because Om is, all sounds are vibration, and Om is found out to be the highest vibration. So you can practice chanting Om for some time. Okay, you can listen to anything that you please, for example, Hanuman Chalisa or any hymns or any, whatever you like, basically, to raise your vibration. So you can listen to music. It could be even piano or guitar or, with lyrics, whatever you like, but which is uplifting. Don't listen to sad songs. Don't listen to songs which are going to take you down. Be very wary of that. Yeah, so use music. That's fine too. At times you can ponder. So there's a difference between pondering and ruminating. They are the opposite terms. Ruminating is basically when you're stuck with a negative thought and you're thinking about it, and it's pretty much problem-oriented thinking, where it takes you down very fast. Very, very fast it will take you down. Pondering is when you're in a solution-oriented thinking. So you could ponder about things, which are positive. You can stare into nature. That's the best way to ponder, and let your mind loose for 20 minutes. So just sit and stare. One thing which I would recommend not to do in this 1 hour is use your cell phone or your laptop. Everything that you're doing, it's preferable if you write it in a diary. That's very crucial, because it's very rarely nowadays that we hold a pen in our hand and we write down, and it has a power because it's connected to the nerves which are connected to the brain. So it has a power, and it's been found out, it's research. Okay, so sorry, so that is what constitutes emotional well-being. You could even make a list of people that you want to speak to in the day. That can also come under emotional well-being. So meditate, do pranayama, ponder, listen to music, write. You can do journaling in emotional well-being. Very, very good to do. Whatever comes to your mind. Journaling is again a very powerful technique where you just write down whatever comes to your mind. Whatever comes to your mind, you write it down. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. It's not like you're going to go back and read. You don't need to. You can just throw it away for all I care. It doesn't matter. But when it comes out, it's very helpful. And you can write mundane things. It need not be intellectual. Oh, it has to be like this. No, not at all. All right, so that constitutes the 1 hour club, which is the physical, emotional and intellectual well-being. You choose what you want to go first with, but stick to the pattern once you decide. Very, very crucial. Chalk it in. For example, I'll show you my daily diary. Okay, so what I do is I pretty much write down what I'm going to do. So it's pretty much written. So I form blocks of 1 hour each, and I just write it down, whatever I'm supposed to do. So in the mornings, generally, I write it as 1 hour. Another thing which I do, this is my something that I have built into my system, is the affirmations. So I do 3 affirmations every day. So I've created these 3 affirmations. So the first affirmation I read out, and this is to be read out aloud, is I live my life with ease, grace and joy. Okay, so that is my first affirmation. The second affirmation is I am abundance. I am abundance. It's not I am abundant. Purposely I've written as I am abundant. Abundance. CE. Okay, and the third one is I am love. So again, here I've not written that I am loved. I am love. I come from that place. I am abundance. I am love. Crucial thing to remember over here is to write down your statements in a positive language and not a negative language, which means that if you want to be happy, you will write I am happy, not I am not sad. Why? Because if I say to you right now that don't think of a pink elephant, what comes to your mind? Pink elephant, isn't it? So very important to write it positively. Do send in comments, and even if I'm not able to respond right now, I will correct the affirmations if you need my help. Or you can always message me on any of the social media platform. That's fine too. All right, so let me see what questions there are, and then I think the 1 hour club seems to be a complete session from me for you. And let me see what questions there are. My mind wanders when I meditate. Yes, that is a very common thing. It happens, and that's okay. Initially, it's like a wild horse. Your mind is like a wild horse today. It will run around. It will resist you wanting to tame it. But very gently, with care, with love, you bring it back. The minute you discover that your mind has wandered, just bring it back. And then keep focusing on the breathing. Okay. What if I do a different kind of meditation from what you... Of course, like I said, you are free to do whatever you want to do. It's completely okay. Third, okay. Yes, Pooja. Well, I know. So, Pooja is saying that cooking is meditative for me. I know it is meditative. However, in this 1 hour, I wouldn't recommend you go to the kitchen and cook for these 20 minutes. Yeah. So, like I say, that mindfulness is a way of living. This 1 hour will help you to live like that. And when I said that you will reinvent yourself, is because when you start noting down these things, when you start discovering yourself, you will see how powerful and how complete you are. And when you realize that, you will make changes so fast that even you will be surprised that, oh my God, I have already done it. Yeah. So avoid cooking, I would say. I completely agree. There are many activities which are very meditative, but right now just sit in one place and try to do the activities. Of course, I don't mean the workout bit, but otherwise. Somebody's no. Okay, so yeah, good question. The 20 minutes you cannot spend in getting ready. I mean, wearing your shoes and going out, that does not become part of this 1 hour. So your 20 minutes of physical workout starts when you're on the mat, or when you are on the stairs, or the minute you start workout. Yeah, so wearing shoes will take 5 minutes. So I would say that don't do that. Be very, very protective of this 1 hour. And preferably keep it at the same time every day, because that is how habits are formed. Yeah. Having said that, I would like to thank all of you for joining me for this session, which is Health from Home series by Aditya Birla Health Insurance. And I hope that you enjoyed the session as much as I did. Thank you very much. This is Dr. Aditi Govitrikar. Reinvent yourself. Bye.